Howdy folks, I'm Brian, and here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Punishing My Stepson for What He Said to My Daughter? Throwaway account, I'm not actually on this subreddit, but I don't want this connected to my main account. I'm a 45-year-old male and I split from my ex years ago. I met my current wife during our divorce and married her pretty quickly after it was finalized. I now live with my wife, a 41-year-old female, and my stepson, a 16-year-old male, while my ex offered 50-50 custody of our daughter, 15 female. I felt it would be better that she stayed with her mother so I could adjust to life with my new wife and stepson. So she came every other weekend before the pandemic. She's been with her mom since March. Here's where the issue comes in. My stepson feels very threatened by my daughter when she's here. I'm the only father figure that he's ever had, and he doesn't like sharing my attention. So, he's quite rude and mean to her. We normally just assure her it's because he's insecure. My stepson came home yesterday, cheerfully saying that my daughter said she'd never come here again. I called my daughter to ask her why she'd said that, and according to her, my stepson has been saying that since school resumed, that I picked him over her, and that I hated her coming to visit, and how everyone was so happy these months that she didn't visit. No one wanted her there, and she needed just to stay away from us. He denied this, of course, but my daughter's friend filmed him at some point, gotta love the age of smartphones, and sent it to me. When confronted, he got watery-eyed and said he was just afraid of losing me. I told my daughter that I obviously don't feel that way, and he just feels threatened by her presence. She asked if I was going to actually do something about his behavior this time, or if I was just going to brush it under the rug like I always did. I told her I didn't brush it under the rug, but I wasn't going to punish him for being insecure about losing his father figure. She told me that she was tired of his daddy issues being an excuse to treat her like garbage, and since I wouldn't stand up for her, she wouldn't be visiting again. I tried to talk to my ex about it, but she says I picked him over her repeatedly and never stood up for her when he treated her poorly, so I don't get to play the victim now that she's fed up with it. I think that they're both being oversensitive here, and my daughter needs to get over it and visit again. But my brother said I let my stepson boost my ego and failed my daughter by not standing up for her. My nephew suggests that I post here. Am I a jerk? All right. So there's a lot to unpack here, but I think the summary is that yes, you're a jerk. It doesn't matter if your son has issues. It doesn't matter if you're the only father figure that he knows. He's treating her badly, and you're enabling his behavior by not punishing him for this. He wants you to himself, and he's afraid of losing you, and this is not a healthy relationship here. I think he needs to go seek therapy, that you folks should be setting up some kind of therapy for him, because this is really just unhealthy. If he's this afraid to lose you, that he's lying and, basically telling your daughter that she's not welcome here, then that's really just very unhealthy. This just goes beyond the normal run-of-the-mill jealousy to something that's just awful. So I do think you should confront him, and I do think that he does need to be punished, but I also think that he needs to be in some kind of therapeutical program to kind of help him work through his issues, because this is just not healthy, period. And I think that your wife and daughter both have some really good points here. You haven't stood up for her. You've constantly let him walk all over her, and does seem like you've chosen him over her a lot. So, yeah, I just think that you have some thinking to do here, and that I think that you're a jerk. You're the jerk. You did pick your new family over her, and then repeatedly leave her needs and emotions out of the equation. Yeah. Him turning down the 50-50 custody to the weekend visits so that he could adjust to his life with his new wife and stepson really said it all. Yeah. So I do think that, again, he's shown over and over again that he's choosing his son over his daughter. Well said. He's so concerned about his poor fatherless stepson that he doesn't realize that he has left his own child fatherless. You aren't a hero for stepping up with one child when you're sending out another one out into the world without parental love. His stepson isn't even wrong for being concerned that OP can only love one kid at a time. OP has shown that to be true. I think that's an interesting take. All right. This one's a little older, but I think it's still really good. And by older, I mean 3 days ago. Am I a jerk for confronting a worker who corrected me in front of my children? Yes, this is a fake account, and no, I'm not using real names. Here's some background. I'm a single mom of 2 kids. Emmy, a 6-year-old female, and Oscar, an 8-year-old male. Since they were very little, I have lied to my children about needing tickets to be on the playground. I especially use this lie at the zoo and museums where admission is expensive, and because as a single mom with a deadbeat ex, I want my kids to get the full experience of what I paid for and not waste our time on something we can get for free at our local neighborhood park. So today I took Emmy and Oscar to the zoo to enjoy the animals and to get out of the house. Plus, it's all outdoors and I feel safe taking them during COVID restrictions. This is when the confrontation happened. We got to the ticket counter and Oscar excitedly asked me about the tickets for the playground. As I'm trying to tell Oscar, no, we didn't get tickets for the playground this time, just the animals, the woman at the ticket counter tells my son, oh sweetie, you don't need tickets for the playground, it's free. And I could have died. My stomach sunk and I couldn't help but glare at the woman. I reminded E and O that we were here to see the animals, but they were obviously excited and asked the lady if it's true. She said happily, yes honey, it's always free. I told them that we have to see the animals first, so we might not have time. Plus, with COVID right now, it wouldn't be a good idea to play with the other kids. Emmy asked if we could play on the playground first instead, and I replied, nope, sorry, it's the rules. The woman looked at me confused. I paid $68 for 1 adult and 2 children tickets. That's a lot of money. You can see why I'd lie. So I buy the tickets and shoo my children ahead to sanitize their hands. Now here's where I might be the jerk. My kids are out of earshot and I turned to the woman and I sternly told her, do us all a favor and keep your mouth shut about the playground. I did not just pay you people almost $70 for something we can do free at home. I paid to see the animals. The woman was visibly taken aback and asked if something was wrong. I told her that it was fairly obvious that I was trying to avoid the playground. She told me that she was only trying to help, and I informed her that if you were truly trying to help, you should have gone along with me, the parent, and not addressed my kids directly to correct me in front of them. You're going to cause a lot of headaches for parents wanting to get their full money's worth. I called my mother afterwards, and she informed me that I was a jerk for telling the woman off for doing her job. Maybe I was, but I wonder if she would keep her mouth shut when it's obvious a parent is trying to avoid something with their kids. Am I a jerk? So I read this one the other day, and this one I really wanted to cover, but I just couldn't. And yeah, she is totally the jerk here. The kids are eventually going to find out you're lying. It's not like they're going to be 8 and 6 forever, if that's how old they were. I don't know. Let me look up. Yeah, it's not like they're going to be 6 and 8 forever here. Your kids are going to grow up, and they're going to realize that you lied to them for years about not going to the about going to the playgrounds and stuff like that. And this was bound to happen. I don't think that the worker had any kind of malice here. I don't think that she was trying to be unhelpful. In fact, I think she was just doing her job. And by yelling at her and telling her off, you were basically telling her not to do her job. She thought that there was some kind of miscommunication or misunderstanding about what the park offered. And she just didn't get the hint that you were sending. And I'm sure that if she had understood what your intention was, that she may have been a little more helpful, so to speak. But she didn't. It's all water under the bridge, and you shouldn't be yelling at a worker just because you lie to your children. You're the jerk. The worker was just doing her job. It's not her fault you chose to lie to your children for whatever arbitrary reason. I don't really understand the we have one of those at homes mindset. It's like, just tell them that you want to look at the animals first, and then if there's time before you have to leave, or before lunch or dinner, they can play on the playground for a bit. worked for me and my brother at that age. Yeah, generally kids are pretty understanding. If you explain to them, oh yeah, we can visit the playground, but that's going to be a treat at the end, then that's going to be a lot better received and probably less therapy for your poor kids in the future than lying to them and being like, oh yeah, this is an extra ticket you need. This is very odd. You paid $70 for the zoo and you're mad that the park is included in the price, but won't let your children use it because you could get it for free at home? Then take them to the regular park instead of spending so much money at the zoo, and don't get mad at the lady who was just trying to do her job. You're the jerk. Alright, I think we have time for one more. I know the other two were a little long, so let's try this one. Am I a jerk because I refuse to clean after my husband cooks, even though I previously agreed to? I am a minimalist when it comes to food. I'm not into food at all, and I just eat because I have to. I don't care about the taste or variety, and I just want to be basically healthy, so I eat very simply. In the morning, I have cereal and fruit. For lunch, I make myself some kind of sandwich. For dinner, I'll have pasta, steamed veggies, and a protein side. Plain, no sauce or dressing. I've eaten this way my entire life. In the morning, I use one bowl and one spoon, and I wash them right away. Total meal prep time and cleanup is under a minute. For lunch, I use one cutting board, just to catch the crumbs, and one knife. Meal prep and cleanup is like 3 minutes. For dinner meal prep, it takes about 15 minutes, and cleanup, again, is like 3 minutes. My husband is the polar opposite. He likes cooking long, expensive, elaborate things for every meal, making a gigantic mess and then leaving it to sit forever. When we moved in together, he started harping on me that it wasn't right that we ate separate meals now that we were a family. He said that he'd do all the cooking for us and I'd never have to worry about it. And in exchange, I should do the cleanup because the person who cooks should never be the person who has to clean afterwards. He pitched it as some kind of huge favor to me when it wasn't, because I never wanted this. I'm fine with most things that he makes, but I'd be just as fine with what I usually eat. I'm not a picky eater because I don't care. But it does mean that I have to wait forever before eating because it takes so long for his food to be ready. He also somehow uses literally every spoon, pan, and bowl that we have almost for every meal, and there's food bits everywhere, all over the counters and the floor. He also has a layer of burnt food on the bottom of every pan every time, and even on the non-stick pans. This takes forever just to clean up, and I just freaked out when I envisioned having to do this 3 times a day for my entire life. I slowly went back to doing my own thing for breakfast and lunch because I just didn't want to wait for his elaborate stuff. He let this slide, but insists on my sharing dinner with him and leaves everything disgusting all day for me to clean up after dinner. I don't want to do this anymore, but he gets upset and I said that I agreed. Am I a jerk? So no, I don't really know why Reddit has given you the jerk rating here, but I'm going to just disagree with this. You made an agreement, and that doesn't mean that you have a lifelong vow to do this. You weren't like, husband, I vow to you forever that I will clean up your dishes. That's not how relationships work. You gave it a shot, and you didn't like it. It's now time for you to talk to him and basically decide a new path forward. Now, if you just stop doing this abruptly without telling him, or be passive aggressive about it, or any number of bad relationship choices, then you would be a jerk. But confronting him and discussing this with him is not a problem, and you can explain your point of view. You can say that this isn't really a favor for you, that you really enjoy your plain meals, and that you don't like doing the elaborate stuff. Or do cooking in a kind of a minimalistic way. There's lots of meals you can make that are minimalistic and very good. And they don't require much in the way of dishes. Me personally, I don't like doing a lot of dishes. And so when I make up meals and stuff like that, I tend to use one pan or one dish, to do the stuff. And then whatever, forks and plates and stuff like that we have for dinner. This sounds like he's getting way more out of this agreement than you are, because everyone knows that the dishes are the worst part of a meal. I mean, this just is, right? It doesn't hurt to confront him. It doesn't hurt to talk to him about this and to, talk about your feelings. And I think that you two can hopefully come to some new agreement that is mutually beneficial. And another thing is that he shouldn't be leaving all of the dishes for you. Like, if he's leaving breakfast and lunch dishes for you to do at dinner, this isn't really part of the agreement that you made at that point in time, and he's kind of being the person who's approaching this badly. So, yeah, I don't think you're a jerk here. I think that this does need to be negotiated more, and I think that you two just need to work out some kind of resolution here. So anyhow, good luck. I think this is relationship advice and not am I the jerk related. A conversation should happen about what you both want and both are willing to do and both prioritize. He wants meals together, but maybe you eat at the same time and you use your own food. Maybe you alternate cooking and he gets your plain food sometimes. Maybe you split the cost of hiring a cleaning lady. You will be the jerk if you refuse to without an open, sincere conversation where you try to collaborate to find a mutually beneficial solution. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. But we actually have something from OP here. I have tried to talk to him about it, and he just gets upset and keeps repeating that I agreed, as if that means I'm stuck to this forever. Oh no, this guy is totally a jerk here. Like, your husband doesn't understand how these things work. Like, this is insane. If he's over here demanding that you do this forever, just say, I mean, I guess either you go to couples counseling now, or I guess you find a new husband. I don't know. Not the jerk. It sounds to me like he wanted a way out of cleaning. Yeah. I know I'm exactly the same way as he is. I love cooking elaborate meals and I despise cleaning and doing dishes. I'd be over the moon if anyone agreed to clean up after my fun hobbies. He doesn't fool me and he shouldn't fool you. He was hoping for a way out of cleaning and he's disappointed it didn't work. Yeah, that right there. LOL, it's always the messiest of cooks who use every single piece of kitchen equipment to make one meal who insist the cook doesn't clean, not the jerk. I don't know, sometimes these jerk ratings are mislabeled because it sounds like everyone's saying that this person is not the jerk. I don't know. Not the jerk. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you didn't, consider giving me a thumbs down, but also explain why in the comments below so I can do better and improve. I'm always open for doing more and better things for you. Also, if you made it this far and you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I read Reddit every day and you'll get more of this kind of stuff. Also, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Repeatedly